Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fine and staying home to keep yourself safe from COVID-19. Students, in the previous module we discussed about the multipurpose river valley project. There we discussed about the different types of dams. We discussed about the hydraulic structure of ancient India and the modern form of that different types of dams. Here in this module we'll discuss some more points about the multi-purpose river valley project. So let us begin, students. Multi-purpose projects. Multi-purpose projects launched after independence with their integrated water resource management approach were thought of as the vehicle that would lead to the nation to development and progress, overcoming the handicap of its colonial past. So whatever loss India faced during the colonial period, after construction of multipurpose river valley projects, after construction of multipurpose projects, it was believed that whatever loss has been faced by the India and Indian people, that could be solved. Our first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru proudly proclaimed that the dam as the temple of modern India. As we know, we go as with our full faith in temple, and we think that everything will be fulfilled if we are going to temple and praying to God. Similarly, it was believed this multi-purpose projects will help in number of ways to the people, to the country. The reason being that it would integrate development of agriculture and the village economy with the rapid industrialization growth of the urban economy. So as it was required, and that way it was expected also from the multipurpose projects. Here, concept of dam, if you try to understand, the dam is a barrier across flowing water that obstruct, direct or retard the flow. Either it is obstructing from the front or retarding it or obstructing it from along the side, and often creating a reservoir, lake or impoundments. You can say that it is in the form of lake, which you can understand in the form of lake that huge quantity of water is collected. Dam refers to the reservoir rather than the structure, as the major purpose of this dam construction is to store water behind the dam, and that is why it is acting as a reservoir. Most dams have a section called spillways. Spillways are where over which or through which it is intended that water will flow either intermittently or continuously. As per the requirement, water will be thrown out, water will be released out from the spillway, that you can see the path of releasing water. Dams are classified according to the structure, intended purpose or height. So about these, a few points we discussed in the previous module. Based on structure and material used, dams are classified as timber dams, so made up of that timber material, that is a timber dam. Embankment dams, that are, yeah, you can say masonry, which is which has been discussed in the previous module, that we discussed all the different types of dams, and with several subtypes. So according to the height, dams can be categorized as large dams, major dams, or alternative as low dams, medium height dam, or high dams. So it is very simple to understand depending on the height of the dams, that are categorized in low dams, medium, and high dams. Now, recent problems arising because of the multipurpose river valley projects. In recent years, multipurpose projects and large dams have come under great scrutiny and opposition for a variety of reasons. The different restriction caused by the multipurpose river valley projects bring such problem. Regulating and damming of rivers affect the natural flow of water and causing poor sediment flow. Of course, when this dam is constructed, the natural flow of river water is retarded or controlled or affected, and excessive sedimentation at the bottom of the reservoir takes place. Behind the dam, a huge quantity of sediment settle down because of the stagnation of water for a longer period of time, and resulting in rockier stream bed and poorer habitats for the river aquatic life. So whatever the aquatic life is existing there, because of harder bed formation, that aquatic life is not able to flourish properly. Then also fragment rivers, making it difficult for aquatic fauna to migrate, especially for spawning. You know, students, that some of the aquatic life needs to move from one place to another place for their different spawning activity, or you can say that giving birth to their young ones. And that way it is very important for survival of such aquatic life. If this will not happen, so then of course the species of that particular aquatic life will be in danger. The reservoir that are created on floodplain also submerge an existing vegetation and soil, leading to its decomposition over a period of time. As you know, that reservoir creates a very huge area of floodplains and submerged the existing vegetation over the region. Suppose this kind of hilly area is there, and between there is a valley region, and if this will be filled with water, so the vegetation cover existing in these areas, that all will be submerged in the water, and that way it will create loss, huge loss for the vegetation life also. Now, effect on community. Multipurpose projects and large dams have also been caused the many new environmental movements like the Narmada Bachao Andolan and Tehri Dam Andolan, and that is just because of the different way the people are affected because of the use. Number of people are displaced because of the multipurpose projects. Resistance to these projects has primarily been due to the large scale displacement of the local communities. Local people often had to give up their land. You know, whenever these dams are constructed, the people living in these areas have to leave the place. Livelihood and their meager access and control over the resource for the greater good of the nation. Means It is done for the welfare of nation, but the people who are living in that area, they are highly affected and their huge property lost. So if the local people are not benefiting from such projects, then who is benefited? Perhaps the landowners and large farmers, industrialists, and few urban centers who will get benefit from these multi-purpose projects because of the irrigation facility made available from these projects, or the hydroelectricity produced which is supplied to the industries and the people living in the urban areas. So it can be taken in that you can take the case of landless in a village. Does he really gain from such a project? If the people, if the person is landless, so is there any benefit to the person from such projects which is providing irrigation facility, that water for irrigation, providing electricity for the different activities for different daily needs? So there is no benefit of the to these people. So of course similarly the people who are living in these areas and they are losing their property, their houses, their land, so it is obvious to protest such things. And in this way community movements comes forward. Narmada Bachao Andolan or Save Narmada movement is a non-governmental organization that we call in short NGO that mobilize tribal people, farmers, environmentalists, and human rights activists against the Sardar Sarovar Dam being built across the Narmada River in Gujarat. It originally focused on environmental issues related to the trees that would be submerged under the dam water, because a huge area would be going to submerge in the water, and that way a lot of vegetation cover will submerge in the water. Recently it has refocused the aim to enable poor citizens, especially the outees, the displaced people who displaced from the region, to get full rehabilitation facility from the government, because earlier the government was not providing that rehabilitation means providing them houses by the reconstruction, or you can say a new houses is provided by replacing the people from there to another place. People felt that their suffering would not be in vain, accepted the trauma of displacement, believing in the promise of irrigated field and plentiful harvest. So that way they people understood that this suffering will not going to end. So often the supervisors, survivors of Rihand told us that they accepted their suffering as sacrifice for the sake of their nation. It is of course very correct fact that people are sacrificing, the people living in that area wherever the multipurpose projects are constructed, they are sacrificing for the nation. But now after 30 bitter years of being adrift, their livelihood having even being more precarious, and they keep asking, are we the only one chosen to make sacrifice for the nation? So they are putting question before the government that if they have sacrificed their property for the nation, so can the government should do something for them. So that way it is a huge problem before the country. The people living in these different areas where multipurpose projects are constructed, Here are one fact is given in your book. Do you know? Sardar Sarovar Dam has been built over Narmada River in Gujarat, and this is one of the largest water resource project of India, covering four states: Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Rajasthan. So these four states are going to benefit by the Narmada River, this Sardar Sarovar Dam over the Narmada River. The Sardar Sarovar project would meet the requirement of water in drought-prone and desert area of Gujarat, that is 4,900 9,490 villages and 173 towns, and in Rajasthan it is about 124 villages. So these many people are going to be benefited from this Sardar Sarovar. Do you know that the Krishna Godavari dispute is due to objection raised by Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh government? See, Krishna and Godavari river is moving from both of these states, and because of these states only this disputes arise. It is regarding the division of more water at Koyna by Maharashtra government for multi-purpose projects. As the river is giving water to both the states, if one state is going to construct a multi-purpose project over the river, the another state is going to be affected because of the reducing quantity of water in the river, and this would reduce downstream flow in their state and with adverse consequences for agriculture and industry. And that is why this kind of disputes arise between the states, and there are number of disputes among the states for such water matters, and we call it interstate water disputes. And students try to find out the different interstate water disputes, and we'll meet in the next module. We'll meet or we discuss about these interwater disputes in next module in proper way in detail. Now, impact of dams. Irrigation has also changed cropping pattern of many regions, with farmers shifting to water intensive and commercial crops. As due to lack of irrigation, the people were earlier doing that traditional farming, the shifting farming. Then afterward, because of availability of the irrigation facility, people started to have intensive and commercial crops. This has great ecological consequence like salination of the soil also, because of use irrigation facility. Due to excess irrigation, salination of the soil increases. You know students that water has different minerals, and when we irrigate the field, the whole quantity of water is not absorbed by the crop. Some part of water seep into the ground and some evaporate due to the sunlight. And when water evaporate, that leave behind the salt content minerals which the water contains. And that minerals slowly deposit in the soil. Year after year, that increase the salt content, that mineral content higher and higher in the soil, and that causes salinization. After the some time, it has transformed the social landscape, that is increasing the social gap between the richer landowners and the landless poor, because of the irrigation facility available because of the multi-purpose project facilities available in the form of irrigation and other different facilities like electricity, navigation. So the people who were already rich, they became more rich and richer. The people who were landless, they became more poor, and that way the social gap between these classes increased. As we can see, the dam did not create conflict between people wanting different uses benefits from the same water resource. But in Gujarat, the Sabarmati basin farmers were agitated and almost caused a riot over the higher priority given to the water supply in urban areas, particularly during drought. So it was, you can say, a kind of riot and you can say struggle that people fight among themselves or disturbance caused due to this, that water distribution, that more water should be supplied to the urban area and less water should be supplied to the rural area. So such kind of thinking developed because of this, and that way also you can say this is a development of social imbalance, social lack of social peace also caused by this multipurpose project. Interstate water disputes are also becoming common with regard to sharing the cost and benefit of the multipurpose projects. And these interstate water disputes are becoming nowadays common and increasing year after year and day by day. So this is also an impact of dam only over the society, over the government, and over the relation between the different states. Most of the objections to the projects arose due to their failure to achieve the purpose for which they were built. So whenever objections are created by the other states, that is mainly when the purpose is not fulfilled. And ironically, the dams that were constructed to control floods have triggered floods due to sedimentation, means in the reservoir. Means dams were constructed with this expectation that dam will control flood, but due to excessive sedimentation in the reservoir, that capacity to control flood of these multipurpose projects dams decreased, and moreover the big dams have mostly been unsuccessful in controlling floods at the time of excessive rainfall. And when excessive rainfall occur, the government and the officers are bound to release water, and then if they are releasing water when the excessive rain occur, then there is no benefit of having such dams in control of flood. So you may have seen or read how the release of water from dams during heavy rain aggravated the flood situation in Maharashtra, Gujarat in 2006, and not 2006 only, every year we often hear that in different states the flood is increasing because of releasing of water from the dam. So the dam motive was to control flood, but the dam became the reason for increasing the flood situation. The flood have not only devastated life and property but also caused extensive soil erosion. Because of the flood, soil erosion takes place. Sedimentation also means that the floodplains were deprived of silt. Because of this flood condition, a lot of silt is deposited in the floodplain area, a natural fertilizer that you know. Further adding on the problem for land degradation. So that way, if soil erosion is taking place, the fertilizer, natural fertilizer, you can say that sediments are removed away from that area and then causing land degradation. It was also observed that the multipurpose projects induced earthquake. How? Because these reservoirs carry a very huge quantity of water and put pressure over tectonic plates because of this heavy pressure, and they are disturbing the balance of this plate, the crust plate, and that cause earthquake situations. Caused waterborne disease also, pests, that different insects, the diseases, pollution resulting from the excessive use of water. So this way there is a lot of problems created because of these multi-purpose projects only. So this way we saw that there are benefit of the multi-purpose projects and some losses also faced by the people. So we need to use it judiciously and try to control the adverse effects and use it as much as possible in a better way to get the maximum benefit from these multi-purpose projects. Of course, multi-purpose projects help the country in development a lot, but caused number of problems also, we cannot deny it. So this was all about for today's topic, students. We'll meet in the next module. Till then, bye all of you. Thank you. Have a nice day.